Hi, I'm Pox.
I'm Couchguy.
You're watching the Two Smart Guys show, where every week we bring you the latest in technology, news, and
Things.
we find interesting.
Or what we're in the middle of at this point.
Yeah, so something that I've been using for quite a while, and I think even Couchguy here has used a lot, is a second system audio?
Second system sound.
Second system sound?
It doesn't matter. You're using audio. Basically, it's a fancy way of saying that I'm not recording audio primarily on the device that's taking the video or film or anything else. And in reality, this is the oldest method for collecting sound. It's actually a newer thing to have audio married together with your video than it is to do it this way.
So the advantages of this is that you can use a high-quality audio recording device and pair it with, say, your cell phone or something that normally has a really lousy onboard audio, which is the case with almost every device.
Well, yeah, and it's also very, very critical when you're talking about just larger production levels. Like you can have, in reality, how this became prevalent to our modern day market is the DSLR craze. Because of the DSLRs not really having good audio, everybody went back to old method, which meant camera contains video, audio recorded someplace else. And then you marry the two later on. And it's not a bad way to do it, but you have to have a way to capture good audio because you can't trust the audio where you get your video.
Yes, so basically, we just wanted to cover a couple of ways of doing this, some of the equipment.
Industry standard. It's really the industry standard is, I think, the one we're going to cover.
Like you just acquired yourself one of these bad boys. That what I've been talking on for the past few shows. Yeah.
and I'm not using mine right now for the show. I'm using my headset, so don't think the audio is coming from this. I might start using this for the show because I have to learn the way he does it. But I bought this for a freelance gig that I'm getting ready to do, and I needed to make sure that I personally don't like the Juice Link method of putting audio to a DSLR. So I wanted to buy this. And I wasn't near Captain Pox anymore to borrow his.
Yeah, so the if you look around, like if you search a lot of videos, you'll see these, like everybody uses these things. Or if you go to like press events, they're like hanging out on top of everybody's cameras.
Standard.
Yeah.
And let me tell you okay, so here's the thing. I'm not going to say this is the only thing you can buy, but here are the advantages to buying something like this versus even a Juice Link, which means you can pump audio like you traditionally do into the camera. My argument, my opinion, not anything you have to listen to. What's great about this particular device and why everyone loves it is because it's got four ways to record. Two on the top, which can record, you can hold it out and record to somebody. And two in the back, which means that you could have a boom pole. You see these on top of cameras, and then the cables run out, and they run to different locations. A lot of people were using these for doing their band before the DSLR craze, because they'd get the ambient sound here, and then they'd pick up the mic of the lead singer and maybe another instrument or something like that, which was able them to do a primary mix with the lead singer pop it out. All kinds of uses for this stuff.
And you can turn the mics too on the top to get a wider range.
So you'll see, radio guys, you'll see, everybody using this stuff. It's a great recorder because you can set a higher quality recording for this than I can ever do on a video camera. So, because I can do 96 kilohertz, megahertz, what is it? 96, anyway. I can do a 96 kilohertz, I want to say it is. I might be wrong. Anyway, versus a 48 or a 44.1. So it's a higher bit depth. The other thing is what I was thinking about later on.
Oh, it also does phantom power to your mics too, which is very unique for these types of recorders.
There are times when I'm doing run and gun documentary stuff and reality television stuff, and I can't imagine somebody from reality television not using something similar to this, not necessarily this, but to plug in to a wireless mic and maybe a boom operator that's not connected to the camera. Like they never touch, and the guy can run around and chase somebody, and they've got that pure sound. Whereas my camera only has 2 inputs. Most cameras only have 2 to 4 inputs. Professional cameras, I could get as many people as I wanted, as long as I have a sync moment that either you see the clacker, or there are some programs that do it for you.
Yeah. So a couple of the programs that do it for you are probably the most popular one would be Pluralize.
It has been a very, very big plugin that everyone has loved. Both Adobe and Final Cut say that they have syncing abilities built into them. I haven't tested them, honestly.
I've used Pluralize in the past, and the nice thing about Pluralize is you literally just throw all the files at it, and it just does its job, and it puts them all together, and it matches the audio and the video, and throws it on the timeline. Works great.
Yeah.
And
I usually use the old-fashioned slap method or the clack method, just because I don't have to have special equipment. It doesn't matter if it's me or someone else in the future. I have this moment that they can sync manually.
And,
so
the Final Cut X version, it works great if it's like just one camera, one piece of audio. I've never had a problem with it. It just works automatically great. When you start throwing multiple cameras in there and a separate audio source, sometimes it might get small files mixed up. The large files always seem to sync just fine, but if you have short little clips, it kind of throws it off a little bit.
Anyway, there are all kinds of options when you're talking about little pieces of gear that make a big difference. And if you have a choice between buying, something like this or buying something cheaper, my opinion is, like, this cost me $200. It's a very, very simple decision to say $200 is going to save me a whole lot of headache. And sometimes saving a whole lot of headache is saving you hundreds, if not more, dollars. So, because nothing worse than getting someplace and having to record it twice because you didn't do it right the first time.
If you want an example of some of the audio, look at some of the CES videos. This is what I run around with at CES, and it works very well. I just plug a little mic into the bottom of it. That way I can just have my camera, and you can actually understand most of what people are saying, even though if you're actually there, you can hear nothing because it's really very noisy.
I think you'll be able to see older videos before you got this. You'll hear a lot of more room noise and a lot more convention noise versus this, which narrows down the beam to being just in front of them and has a nicer audio sound to it. And it has, we kind of seen it pop up a couple times when we've been in videos. We've seen you have it below you.
Yeah.
And it sounds nice, and that's the whole point. You sounding nice is half the battle. If you have a piece of video and you have some bad audio, you've all seen it on the internet, you've all seen it on the web, you've all complained about mine from being remotely with these stupid headsets. It makes a huge difference because it immediately takes you out of the subject because you can't focus because you've got weird audio.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get the audio straightened out, move back into the studio now that it's above 0 degrees. Anyways, post in the comments below your thoughts on audio and devices and different brands.
Tell me your favorite gear. I want to hear about your favorite gear.
Anyways, see you guys next week.
This has been a Two Smart Guys production.